Welcome, fellow sovereigns. I'm starting this for the 7th time today. Had technical difficulties and then a coughing fit. All just testing the patience. So people tell us that we need to let the past go. That all the bad things that happen to us and all the emotions that come from past events, we need to let them go. And some say it's difficult. I almost contend that it's impossible to let it go, because the things that happen to you, the things that happen to me, the people we met, they are all part of what made us now. And it's almost like building a house, and you start with the piles, or in Australia they call them stumps. And then you have the the flooring, and then you put up the walls, and then the roof, and then you add in the lining and the plumbing and the electrical and the appliances and everything else. You had to start with something. And if we take those piles away, the house falls down. I don't think it's possible to do that as a human. I can be wrong. I have been known to be wrong. So an alternative is not to try and get rid of our past or undo the past or let our past grievances go. Perhaps that's possible. But another way is simply to acknowledge them and know that they're with us. They are part of what made us who we are. And if you like, the struggle or the challenge to get through them has added juice to who we are. And so I'm going to give you two examples. One of them is a novel that I'm reading by Håkan Nesser, a Swedish thriller writer. So, Agnes is in her 50s, her husband has just died, they've just had the funeral, and her old friend, Hetty, who they haven't seen each other for years, Hetty turns up to the funeral, and so they each have a problem. Agnes's problem is that her stepchildren hate her, and they are probably likely to threaten to take the house off her. The house that she absolutely loves, and she doesn't have enough money to keep the house, to buy her share out from the children. Hetty's problem is that she's just found out that her husband is having an affair, and she wants to kill him. That's what we all do, isn't it? And so they hatch this plot whereby Agnes is going to kill Hetty's husband, and Hetty will be a long way away, so there'll be no likelihood of she'll have an alibi. And when she does it, then Hetty will pay Agnes $10,000. Was it $100,000? I forget. Anyway, enough money to pay off the stepchildren and keep her house. So everybody will be happy. So they're planning this murder of Hetty's husband. Now, I know exactly what's going to happen. And I know that this writer has an acute understanding of human behaviour, which is partly why he's such a good writer. And I will tell you now what's going to happen, and I'll see if I'm right. I'm guessing that the person that Hetty's husband is having an affair with is actually Agnes. And Agnes at the moment is pretending to be planning to kill Hetty's husband, her lover. I don't know this, but I'm making it up. And what's going to actually happen is that Agnes will kill Hetty. And then she and Hetty's husband can then go and live happily ever after and have all the money. Why? Because Hetty and Agnes were close friends for years when they were young girls. And there was something that happened, and Hetty upset Agnes, and Hetty doesn't know that she did, but Agnes carries that grudge, that grievance. And so she's going to kill her husband because Hetty stole Agnes's boyfriend. So she's now going to steal Hetty's husband. That's all very obvious, isn't it? So Agnes has this grievance from the past. And that's fine, I would contend. It's okay to have a grievance. And people say we shouldn't have thoughts of murder and we shouldn't have thoughts of rape and we shouldn't have thoughts of theft. There is nothing wrong with having thoughts, negative thoughts. It's the difference is acting on them. I might think of murdering somebody. No, I don't. But if I did, I would not act on it. And what we should not do is act on those negative thoughts. And really, Agnes should not be acting on her grievance from the past. An alternative is simply to acknowledge she had a grievance. This friend, who was an amazingly close friend and really, really helpful through all of those teen years, she did something unknowingly hurting Agnes. And just choosing to acknowledge and see there is a grievance there. Okay, grievance, there you are. I'm not going to try and get rid of you. I'm simply going to acknowledge you. I don't have to act on you. I don't have to have it sway my world. So in a similar way, the second example is me and my life. So I was sent away when I was 11. And at the time I was very happy because who wants to be beaten every day? And then I would go back about 3 times a year for about 2 weeks, a week maybe, and see this family. But I never felt that I fitted in. And they would have gone on with their lives and whatever, and they'd carry on their conversations about this and that happened, and I would turn up for 2 weeks, and I'd feel like an imposter at a party. I just didn't belong, and they had no interest in my life. So and I'm not complaining, it's just how it was. And so I've always had this, it's not quite an abandonment, but it's just that I don't fit in. I'm not one of the tribe, and I've always had this hankering for a tribe. And so I just acknowledge it's there. And so we had a silly little thing that happened. So I'm in an under 50s complex. They take the rubbish every Thursday. They take the full rubbish bag and they put another bag back. But last Thursday they forgot. Slip up. So I went and saw the owner or the manager, and his wife was there, and I asked her if she could do it. She said, look, we don't have any here at the moment, but I'll get you one. And I think she forgot. And so yesterday I texted the manager saying, look, I think your wife's forgotten. I need a bag because they're being taken today. And what happened? Nothing. No reply. No text back saying, oh, sorry, we'll get you one. No bag, no bag, no bag. And even till last night, there was no bag. And so what happened? Of course, my little grievance about my past, about wanting to be part of a group, but wanting to be treated like everybody else, it popped up. Boop, here we are. And so I had these moments of feeling, oh, they're picking on me. Oh, and immediately, I know, humans, they forgot, they got busy, things happened, and a rubbish bag, whoopee. And I don't know that I can ever let that go. Maybe I can. Maybe there's some therapy or whatever that'll release it. But in releasing it, will I be a different person? Because I'm quite happy with this one. With this carcass that I'm walking around in, and the life that I'm living, and the people that I know, and whatever. So instead of trying to dig out the piles that are holding the house up, maybe we just leave them there and acknowledge that the past was not perfect. Actually, nobody's past is perfect. Well, unless you're a robot, perhaps. And that's what makes us, it gives us the juice of who we are, because the challenges of getting through the setbacks and the upsets, perhaps, give us more character. Give us something that we would not be without them. So I'm not saying we celebrate them and go joyful about we simply acknowledge they're there. And when something happens, I will quickly fall into, oh, I'm being treated differently. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. No, I'm just being treated. And so we can always have those thoughts, and I don't know that we can let them go. And I'm suggesting, if you're having trouble letting your past go, don't. Just know it's there. Acknowledge that whatever particular, if you like, presiding emotion that you have about life, and mine might be, I don't belong. Yours might be about, there was always conflict. And so conflict will come up. Thank you, conflict. I don't need you. Or maybe yours is about something else. The way that your parents treated you, the way your siblings treated you, the way that school life treated you when you were young. There might be a presiding, persistent angst. And rather than trying to let it go, just say, oh, there you are. There you are again. Oh, there you are again. And just acknowledge it. Because with it, you are still who you are. With it, your life is still going on. With it, you are still functioning. With it, everything that you are, you wonderful being, is who you are. And maybe you wouldn't be that who you are thing without it. Maybe you'd be less powerful, less strong, less incisive, less compassionate, less caring. Maybe you'd be less something without that little voice that speaks up every now and then in those silly moments. And so I'm suggesting that rather than let your past go, acknowledge it. Okay, this is how I was treated, this is how I felt, and that feeling has been with me forever. And it's possibly not going to go away. So I can simply say, thank you, I heard you, and now I will carry on and be a more functional being in each moment. And that's my message. Maybe stop trying to get rid of that negative past. Just thank it. We don't need to celebrate it. Just acknowledge it's there, and each time it arises, we don't have to beat ourselves up for being dysfunctional or falling into the past. We simply just acknowledge it. Hello, here you are, and thank you, goodbye. Hello, here you are, thank you, goodbye. And so on. Excuse me. So I wish you, what do I wish you? I wish you a wonderful day, a wonderful present, and a joyful acknowledgement that your past is who you are. And it's going to keep coming up. It's going to keep coming up. It'll keep coming up. And the awareness that it doesn't need to go because it is you. But also it doesn't need to control you. Agnes doesn't have to kill the husband. I don't have to get grumpy about the owners. Hello, goodbye. Hello, goodbye. So I wish you a release from the need to let your past go. I wish you the acknowledgement that your past is there and you don't need to act on it. And I bless you and all who sail in her